So this is a shadow reading. In terms of, we're going to be looking at some more shadowy, darker material, unconscious material, material that may be uncomfortable or painful, stressful. But it's all for the sake of your healing and your transformation and ultimately getting that stuff out of your body and out of your energetic system so that you can bring more of your true self online and express from that place. Because that's going to bring so much more ease and purpose to your life and to the lives of those that you touch. So the cards that have come out are Gilded Regret and Forgetting Oneself. I'm just taking a look at the imagery before I show you, and then I'll talk a little bit about the message. I mean, 5 and 17 it turns into an 8. You're turning your challenges into wisdom, mastery, learning. But there's definitely been a history, if not currently still, of you losing track of your truth because of regrets that you hold that may be very unconscious. And a lot of those regrets have to do with not holding on to boundaries or not setting boundaries to protect yourself. We haven't always been great at protecting ourselves because we've probably been people pleasers, because we were probably made to be responsible for other people's emotions, moods too early, too soon in childhood, expected to be more mature than we are potentially, and growing up too soon. And in that process, we forget ourselves because we get so busy trying to take care of everybody else and make sure that everybody else's needs and emotions are met and okay so that we can feel safe. And that's not really like, it's a way of self-protection, but it's like a maladaptive coping mechanism way of self-protection that isn't really going to serve us in the long run. I'm assuming if you're finding this reading that you've already done a lot of healing work. You've done shadow integration, you've done trauma work, you've done therapy, spiritual healing, energetic work, to some extent, but we're in a period of like recognizing what more there is to do and being, I think, willing, more willing than maybe we have been in a recent, just more aware. Like, it's not about willingness. I think our willingness correlates with our awareness. Once you become aware of the pattern, of the limitation, of the way that you're not respecting yourself or not, like, boundaries to me are about like telling people what needs to happen in order for them to remain in your life. They're not to like punish. They're not to push people away. They're actually to bring people closer. But it's for you to vet who is meant to come closer to you. If they can't respect your boundaries, if they constantly overstep, or you've given feedback of some kind and they continuously disregard it. This isn't about being perfect, but you get to trust yourself, trust your discernment when it comes to how people are treating you and what their capacity is for how they're able to treat you, how they're able to uphold boundaries for themselves too. Like, ultimately, this usually has to do a lot with self-respect and our boundaries with ourselves. Like, if you're letting yourself, like, this has been your pattern before, so you probably can recognize this in other people now. When you have forgotten yourself, people pleased, made other people's needs more important than yours, took care of everybody else, or just managed the energy through control or through avoidance, even like avoidance of confrontation, conflict, communication, is a form of control because you are controlling other people's, well, you should have sovereignty over how other people can access you, but you're controlling you're controlling the relationship in that sense. If you're not allowing other people to access you, but you're assuming access to them whenever you want, then that is a form of control, even if it looks like avoidance. So I'm just pulling some clarifying cards. I do want to read these. I'm a little bit, like I said, the energies. I'll talk more about my personal journey at another time, but there's some personal changes I'm going through that are impacting my anxiety. It's not just random. So gilded regret is okay, I'm just kind of reading this, sorry. Let me just read it out. Okay, moon phase, waning crescent, state, bargain. I feel like living in the past. Please give me 5 more minutes to linger. Yeah, what is it about your past that you have such a hard time letting go of? I think you're scared that there's not going to be, it's something to do with, it can do with people, connections, emotional connections especially. There's something about, like, I can't remember, one of these came out upright and one came out reversed. And the way I had them in my hand, I can't remember which one came out in reverse and which one came out upright, to be honest. So it's feeling like there's a lot of uncertainty in emotional connections right now. And I think with the regret is like you're looking back to past emotional connections and wondering if there's anything to rekindle there, reminiscing, maybe regretting ways that you showed up, or again, ways that you allowed yourself to be treated, allowed your boundaries to be crossed potentially, allowed yourself to be taken advantage of, wasn't aware, said yes to things that weren't really for you or didn't really resonate or like help you, support you. Again, put other people's needs and emotions above your own in connections. There's something coming together here about realizing that, like, now that the regrets that were maybe previously held in your subconscious are coming to light and you're getting the opportunity to process them, you're actually, well, one, you're getting to be more present. You're getting to be more present with your own emotions. Sorry about the dogs if you can hear them barking. The male's here. I'm just seeing 2-2. It's 2:20 right now. Yeah. 2s being about connections. Yeah. Yeah, oh my God. Hold on. When we want to stay in the past, when we want to look back at old relationships and old connections, it could be because there is a piece of ourselves that we energetically left with those people that we're looking to reclaim. When we separate with people who we've had a deep emotional connection with, whether that was really one-sided or not. I mean, we can make up a lot in our heads and get emotionally invested in ideas of people who really have very little to reciprocate back to us. But that's still an emotional connection and an emotional attachment that you've made. And when our energy, when we're constantly thinking back to these things, it means that there's some of our energy that's left with that. And so we can actually reframe and stop feeling guilty or shameful that we're having to revisit these regrets or revisit these old connections, old flames that, are long dead, long gone out, because we're actually doing work to reclaim that creative aspect of ourselves and that emotional aspect of ourselves. And I feel like we simultaneously support ourselves by being able to hold space for our own emotions. And this is how we get back to ourselves. And then from that place, then we'll be able to bring in, more positive connections, more like true connections that feel true, that feel honorable, reciprocal, respectful, nourishing, supportive. I gotta get a card that fell on the floor. Wow, lots reversals. So take them as you will. I mean, these came out first. If something's stopping you, I'm hearing the only thing stopping you is you. You're setting the pace, though. You're setting the pace for this cycle to end. There's something about the inner child that wants to be healed to help this cycle end. Yeah, I'm hearing like we're talking about going back to old relationships. That includes all the way back to childhood, and that's ultimately going to be how to find that new beginning. Yeah, you're moving on from this reality that made you feel like you are someone that creates chaos in your life or in other people's life. And this might have been one of your subconscious regrets, that you feel in some way guilty for bringing chaos to other people's lives. Like something in you, some idea that you've had, again, not again, but because I'm seeing swords here, ideas, moving on. This is a card about moving on from old ideas, old ways of thinking. And all these reversed, like everything's reversed. This is very internal. This process is very, very internal. It might not be, it's probably being reflected in your external reality in some ways because you are living your life, but and so you're, going to experience it through the lens of what you're processing internally. But you're really coming into balance with this process. And then that's going to be like your new foundation. This is about how you see yourself. Yeah. This is about how you see yourself. So take time to rest, to integrate. I'm hearing to receive. Some of you may still be very uncomfortable with receiving in whatever way. Resources, time, words of affirmation, acknowledgement, grace. Like you may be really not used to receiving. You're used to being the one that pushes forward all the time and just kind of has to maintain a momentum for survival, I think. But you're ready to make a different choice. You're recognizing that some things in your life, some systems or structures are asking to be decided on. One more card. Oh my gosh. Okay, Ace of Cups. Remember what I said just a minute ago about these reversals being about this being an internal process? You need to give yourself some sort of emotional gift. Or you'll be receiving some sort of emotional gift, but it's going to come from within. This could be about... I'm really careful how I'm going to say this. Okay, actually, there's something in this imagery coming in for me. So this chalice, I had an experience once in a priestess circle retreat that I did with a mentor and a group of women, and we did, we moved through the 13 Moon Mystery School archetypes, which is something I shared about before recently, something that I've studied. But every archetype has tools, and anyway, we were on the archetype that uses the chalice as a tool, which is the priestess, I believe. And I had brought up that I felt unsure about like how that worked energetically or what the purpose of the chalice was. Like, I understand that it holds water, but like, what is it? But so my mentor showed me, my mentor Elaine Kalila, I love sharing people's names that I work with that I feel like do wonderful work in the world that you could be interested in working with also. But anyway, she had me hold the chalice up to my chest, basically, my heart, or kind of the center of my being, and feel what it was for. And I received it, that it's open at the top and it's open at the bottom. So this is like about our channel. I'm hearing psychic channel, but it's our connection between the earth and the spiritual realms, the upper dimensions. And we receive from the upper dimensions and from the earth, and we can create this kind of exchange or flow of energy through our own vessel. And so when we know how to do this with intent and with security, and it's a felt sense, right? It's a felt sense, but it helps to really it helps to ground our emotional energy. It helps to, what am I trying to say here, Spirit? Help me out. It gives us strength. Thank you. It gives us strength because we're not alone. We have all of these spiritual forces below and above us, and we are the in-between. We are the vessel. We are the conduit of this energy, okay? So when we learn how to pour into ourselves, like, I don't know, there's something about this imagery when it's like this. You know, even this, like, I've never really looked at this before, but like, why is it, I hope you can see this, but why is it shaped that way? Why are these streams of water shaped like that? It's very strange, but it's like they come from source, they come from source, and they flow up and in, or they flow down and up, like, it's like when you're in this exchange within yourself, I think that's when this breakthrough happens. And then what's going to happen as a result? Let's get some. Okay. Got the Hanged Man. What's going to happen as a result of this alchemy, of this becoming the vessel, of this understanding ourselves as a conduit and being able to move energy through our bodies? Okay, yeah. We're coming full circle in this reading. Really interesting. I wasn't sure what the Hanged Man was going to do for us here, but then we have the Empress reversed and Justice. And what I'm actually getting from this is this is this understanding that I was talking about earlier about who we are. We're remembering ourselves, remember, after forgetting that literally your presence is the alchemy. You don't have to do anything to bring about justice. You just need to sit on your inner throne Know how resourced you are from the above and the below. Really trust your spiritual support at this time to help you release these emotions. And you're basically just clearing your vessel so that you can be a clear conduit. And you're just going to hold that transmission as a frequency. And as you walk through the world, people and energies and fields will be changed because you walked through them just for being you. And you won't have to worry about these old energies draining your emotions because you're going to continue to pull those back through this alchemical process. You're willing to sit with your emotions, with what comes up. And that's literally this clearing process, this deep purging of shadow. Not to dispose of it, but to be able to use it. Not to to be able to use it. I don't know a better way to say that, but I feel like there's one last little message that wants to come through. I have no other decks around me, but I feel like I need another deck, so I'm gonna go get one. Okay, well, speaking of Elaine Kalila, she made this deck, so let's use this as a final message. This is the Magdalene Rose Oracle. Oh my god, yes! These cards, this is exactly it. I haven't read the description to this one, but to me, this card, the Illuminatrix, this is exactly what I was talking about. You're here to show the way. Like, look at this. Look at this. Lanterns, okay? The moon, nighttime. You are here to be a light in the dark. I'm hearing dark times are upon us, and I don't mean that to scare anyone. I just mean to say that in a way that acknowledges all of the difficult stuff happening on our planet and the fact that there are spiritual forces that I don't understand at all. I don't understand everything that's happening on the global stage, but I know sure as heck that it's spiritual in some nature because everything is spiritual. So this is not just about the governments and about money and about all these physical things. This is a spiritual mission, endeavor, battle. I don't like that word. But taking up arms is just literally being the light that you are, right? Like, it's not about fighting necessarily. You fight, the way that you fight is moving through tower after tower. You are a fighter, you are a survivor. I have a freaking song that I'll make one day for you that is about that. And literally, those are the lyrics. But this sacred union, again, this is all relationships start with you. So you are definitely going to be, all of this work is going to create inner union so that your aspects are in balance. And I think we can even think of this beyond just masculine, feminine, because we have those two aspects within us. The reason that I don't like to use them is because I feel like it's really almost impossible to remove them from gendered contexts, which really distort the meaning. It's kind of like it's a polarity because we live in a world, the law of polarity is part of our reality. And so there are these things that are opposing but support each other in their opposition, and they are kind of one and the same, but they show up differently. That's what I feel like it's talking about. But I also think that, with sacred union often being thought of in terms of relationships, partnerships, I feel like this could have to do with more than two parts of ourselves. This is the union of all of our inner parts. So if you're somebody that's interested in parts work and psychology or therapeutic work or anything like that, that could resonate with you. Or just recognizing like you have an inner child, like an inner toddler, an inner teenager, an inner 20-year-old, an inner mother, an inner, whatever. Even an inner father, like, doesn't have to be, it's not gendered. Whatever those parts of you that you are or have been that still hold energy are coming into balance and coming into union. We're getting towards the end here, but I just want to go back to the beginning where I was talking about these two cards and how this is like old relationship energy, old connections that you might be thinking of that are still holding pieces of your energy that you're working to reclaim through this alchemical emotional work, not just recalling the memories over and over again, but actually bringing the emotions up that are needing to be cleared, letting yourself feel through them and release them through your body in whatever way you need to, movement, sound, touch, breath, intention, prayer, support. But this is really a process that you're doing with yourself. But anyway, I think that these relationships it's not just about with past people, but it's about your relationship with past parts of yourself. How are you relating to your inner teenager? How are you relating to your inner child, these different ages of you that are different parts of you? How have you been relating to them? What are they asking from you? What do they need? And especially, what emotions are you still holding towards them that have to do with kind of this energy of regret? Because those are keeping the illusion of you alive, and we're stepping into union with ourselves. And so this is the process. If you want to know more, or if you need if this is really resonating with you, I know this has been, I didn't know how long this video was going to be when I started recording. I know that it's been a little bit longer. I don't know exactly how long it's been. Looks like about 20 minutes. So, if you've made it this far, I'm sure that this reading has really resonated with you. And if you are somebody that is like, yes, this resonates, but like, how do I do what you're talking about exactly? Like, if you feel like you need more support or more guidance or more structure around this inner alchemical process, please let me know. Please leave a comment, or even send me a message. But ideally, just leave a comment so that I know, so that I can create that for you, because I'm here to like have this kind of alchemical back and forth process with you as well, and with whoever ends up finding these videos that I've been making. But again, this is who you're stepping into, being the illuminatrix, being this guiding light without even having to try it, without even having to do anything. And when you feel that, you'll know, is what I'm hearing. You'll know. You'll know when you're in that frequency, and you'll know when you're showing up that way, and life will show you. Life will confirm to you. And Spirit's telling me, like, just leave it at that. So if this was your reading, please let me know. Leave me a comment down below. Again, if you need more support or have any reflections. But if you did make it to the end of the reading, I would love if you could just even leave me like a 222, so that I know who's watching, and follow along for more. I'm Kelsey. This has been Igniting Insight, and I hope you have a good rest of your day wherever you are. Blessings.